Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ori Randomizer Master Tournament 2022. Good morning, good night, wherever you are. It is time for some good Ori. My name is Turtle, and I'll be joined today on commentary for this match by none other than Liftoff. Liftoff, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. It's always good when there's some Ori to be had. We might be experiencing a technical difficulty here or there, but besides that, we will get to the run very shortly.
Exactly that. Anyway, we're very excited for this is the final match in the first round of the Master Tournament. And we're going to be seeing Cereberon and play against Infinite. This is a very interesting matchup. We'll see Infinite is a veteran of many speedruns of this game. He's done all skills, he's done SPS, and he's also a skilled randomizer player. Meanwhile, Baron is very skilled in difficult randomizer stuff. He's made a lot of plandos showcasing weird stuff you can game, so I think this should be a very enjoyable matchup to watch.
Yeah, these two both got into the Master Randomizer tournament for a very good reason. So even though this is their first round in the tournament, it's already very a great match to see. And of course, this is the last match of round one, as you just saw with the bracket flashing up on screen. We've seen some plenty great races of varying lengths, so Randy could throw anything at us today, and I'm so ready for it.
Indeed. In Master, the variance is super high, so we might see a seed that's basically an expert seed with and also triple jump, or you might see forced isles into forced grenades, stompless into forced D-boost to the top of Hordu without bash. All of that can happen, and that's just a very exciting thing, and a very exciting point to be at. And I'm definitely excited to see what the race has in store for us today.
For sure. And something else that can happen in Master Seeds is you don't need a lot of skills in order to get places like the Final Escape. So there tends to be a skill on that quite often in Master. And actually, in your own race, one of the commentators predicted that perfectly. So I'll give you the chance now. What do you think is going to be on that Final Escape pickup?
I think the Final Escape is going to be Charge Jump.
Charge Jump? Oh wow!
Yes.
I would love to see our runners go through an entire seed without that. It's such a great vertical skill, and they will not be getting it, luckily.
Well, let's hope so. What do you think is going to be there?
Double jump is my favorite skill, and so I don't want the runners to have that. So I think it's going to be double jump.
Yeah. Baron is actually hoping for a non-G jump seed. Thinks that would probably tilt things in Infinite's favor because he's not as comfortable with them, and I think he also wants to have the opportunity to show off some of his more obscure tech that he might know that Infinite might not know. So he thinks he might be able to gain an advantage that way. I think Infinite would probably be happier if this came down more to execution and less to knowledge, because I think that's definitely the area where he's favored. But either way, I think it's going to be a very exciting match that's going to be starting very soon once we resolve our technical issues that we have here.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a real tournament if we didn't have some tech issues along the way.
Yeah.
But I totally get where you're coming from. Like, Infinite, you said, runs basically like every other meme category in this game. SPS, sign says, knows all the different things to do with different like routes and ways to get to the end without bash, without stomp. But Baron's the one who's making all the plandos, who's going really crazy with that stuff. So definitely, I like that knowledge versus execution. It's definitely something you wouldn't see in, say, all skills, but in Rando, it's really cool to think about.
And I would not be surprised at just the type of seed that we get here if it's like us. I think if it's a slower seed, then that would definitely favor Baron more. But if it ends up being faster, then I think Infinite would be the favorite, and that's just a very exciting state to be in because anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like Baron's stream is back, so we should be able to start our seed and get started with this match in very short order.
Heck yeah. And you will also notice up in the top left corner of both screens, we are on beta. What's all that about, Liftoff? Can you tell us?
So there's a new version of the randomizer currently in beta development. Features a couple of interesting new things, accessibility options, a fair number of them, some small changes here and there. We'll be calling them out once they become relevant. But yeah, it's not officially released, but the devs agreed to also use this tournament as a small showcase of sorts of all the new stuff that's packed into that. There will still be stuff added. There will also be a new seed gen. We're not using that now, so the seed gen is still the same as you probably know it. But yeah, it's going to be exciting times for the randomizer up ahead, and this tournament is giving a small sneak peek into that.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for the full release. It's got so many cool features in it. And again, so much accessibility too, but
yeah. You can have, like, for example, you can have auto fire turned on if that's your thing. It's, I think, a little worse than perfect mashing, but not a whole lot. You can have the option of having grenade jumps on a bind instead of having to hit a 1-frame window for that. You can use your mouse if you're a keyboard mouse player. You can use your mouse to aim charge jumps and to aim your swimming while underwater. Just a lot of cool things. Some of it backported from the randomizer for Will of the Wisps as well. Yeah, just really cool to see that there's still so active development happening in this game, even though it's not the newest anymore. I just love to see how the community is still alive and thriving with events like these, and that the randomizer is still being worked on and being improved. That's really cool.
I might be a little bit biased here, but the Ori community is like the best people in the world. Everyone's so awesome here, and awesome enough to just keep waiting and listening to us talk for a little bit as we keep getting things.
Yeah, so, definitely, definitely a very friendly community. I'm not disagreeing with that.
But that is the 30 seconds mark in race time, and so we will be getting through with our little stalling spiel here to get you the race.
So while we're counting down the final seconds before the race officially begins, let's ask the age-old commentary question: what do you think is going to be the first skill that our runners find, or the first piece of progression?
Okay, so you said this is going to be on the final skate, but it's a tournament seed, so we're going to get charge jump first.
Well,
that's just the rules of tournaments.
Well, we already know that at least one of us is wrong. Let's find out who it is.
Good luck on your rando. Thank you, Infinite.
Good luck to you.
Right. So our first pickup of the run, it's an ability cell. Pretty standard. Ability cells are very important in Master because a lot of ability cell pickups or ability cell things in the skill tree can be required up to and including Ultra Defense at the very end of Blue Tree. So our runners will need to be very smart about how they use those ability cell points in case they don't miss out.
Yeah, you can never be required to invest as much into the other trees. But still, Charge Flame Burn on the red tree and Magnet on the purple tree are also in logic for some master things. So yeah, I think everybody is probably going to be prioritizing the blue tree, but let's see.
And already here we do have our first new feature of the 4.0 beta. Teleporting, or Alt-Ring, now instead brings you to the teleporter menu instead of just taking you back to spawn. So in this case, it actually makes it a little bit longer to get out of that well and back up. But later, they'll be able to just teleport anywhere and skip the trek down to the teleporter, which is very convenient and something that I loved in Will-o'-the-Wisps, and I'm glad is now here.
Yes, it's definitely, it slows down the early game a little, and there are a couple of tricks where it's a little awkward, but all in all, it's just, for the most part, it very much streamlines the randomizer playing experience. So far, nothing. We've seen nothing super groundbreaking. It's just been 2 keystones, a very normal start, even outside of master seeds. This pickup down here is actually in logic. Cereberon put in 1 try to get it, and then didn't go for it. Infinite meanwhile gets it on the 2nd try, finds a keystone there, and decides to keep it. So Baron is going to get a small head start into Glades, but it might be that he actually needs this keystone at the end of days, and then he's going to have to come back, and Infinite will be equalizing. Find our first progression. It does begin with the word charge, but it's actually charge flame, not charge jump. You were probably closer than I was, though. Baron is immediately turning around after getting it, and going back through Glades, and going to be breaking this charge flame breakable wall over here, which I would be very surprised to not find progression behind.
Yep, charge flame is actually a really nice skill to have early on, because it means that you will be able to break what's in blue plants. Going through some areas like Grotto without blue breakage just means that you're leaving like 2 or 3 pickups behind all over the place because you don't have that blue breakage. So now that our runners have that, that's just a sigh of relief, honestly, that they will be able to just know that those pickups are within reach, as long as they have enough energy, because at this point, Z-Flame does cost energy, and they only have 1, so...
Too true. Charge Flame, in Master especially, also means that you can now do projectile redirects. So I'm not sure how comfortable both our runners are with it. The big one is, of course, Charge Flame Stompless, which we're definitely a ways away from, but it might be interesting to keep in the back of your mind. The other 2 big ones I can think of at the moment are entering Swamp through the lower route and doing Upper Ginso. So we'll see if I would be very surprised if none of those turn out to happen during the seed, but I mean, the randomizer has a tendency to surprise people, like it did me right now when there wasn't any progression behind that wall. So we'll see.
Yeah. Instead, we do see on Infinite Screen flashing up the Grove teleporter. That's an area that's typically pretty early on in the run as well. But this will save our runners quite a bit of keystones, not needing to go all the way through Spirit Caverns in order to get here. And we immediately see Baron, after that wall jump tree, is going to take the Grove teleporter, will back off in order to skip the very long cutscene that plays at this teleporter. And from there, looks to be going towards a wall jump tree, can also grab a pickup or 2 on the other side of this area by breaking the blue wall, but doesn't have the energy for that because he did need to save. But that's fine for now. He can just get the tree, which will refill his energy, maybe see what else is around here.
Infinite is like slightly behind Cereberon because he did have a little trouble at the beginning, and also with fish. And now, yeah, so they were like 32 seconds apart at the wall jump tree, and Infinite is coming down to the charge flame tree. It's definitely not a huge lead for Baron at this point, and especially once the logic opens up a little more, that they'll start taking divergent routes, we'll be seeing much greater differences develop than just 32 seconds. So it's definitely, Baron is like slightly ahead at this moment, but like anything can still happen. He walked over to Valley Entry, just found a keystone there, teleporting out. Infinite seems to be checking this area first. Since Baron didn't find much, finding something here would be a good bet. So, I think I know where Randomizer wants them to go now. We're seeing the rare reverse spirit caverns.
Yeah, we don't have wall interaction, but we do have a teleporter, and there are still pickups to grab, and with basically nowhere else to look in Logic, Baron's making the play to use those keystones and see what he can get just by falling down Spirit Caverns. There are only a couple that are within reach, and he might need to fall down a couple more times to get some of these trickier ones. But we do see Infinite taking the same route. This is all that our runners can do.
There's one more pickup to get, and I think it has to be logical progression at this point. It needs a micro ledge, and that's quite precise. And Baron did not, and does still not have the energy to actually place a save before going for it. So, yeah, I think that's going to, yes, I think he's going to be teleporting up. The problem is, since he skipped the teleporter up there, he can't refill his energy there. So let's see what he does with that.
We do also see Infinite is looking a little confused. This is definitely not a pickup that, unless you know you can get it, it's just a weird thing. But it is possible. So we'll see if he gets it. He does look to be heading down into Spirit Caverns once more, checking the map with that 4.0 filter turned on to see all the things, just to make sure that he's not missing anything else, which he's not. There really isn't anything else in Logic. This seed is just that cruel.
I did not actually know that this was Logic. I mean, makes sense, it's Master, and there's wall jump.
Rando.
That's pretty cool.
But you know what that means?
It means wall interaction, blue breakage, everybody's favorite start to a seed.
Yep, Baron is immediately instead trying to get into Blackroot, seeing if there's anything that he can get while actually progressing towards a tree, instead of the very, very long way you go in the vanilla game.
Yeah. Let's see if Infinite knows about this micro ledge. He seems to be a little confused at the moment. He has teleported back here, and he looks to be heading left again. So I think, just by virtue of nothing else being possible either, I think he'll probably work it out. But this is definitely allowing Baron to extend his lead at this point. That's just kind of unfortunate that there happened to be like forced progression on a pickup that's like, and there's no way to get around getting this micro ledge in the seed. And if you just don't know about this micro ledge, then you're just kind of having a bad time. So let's hope Infinite figures it out reasonably quickly, or otherwise Baron will be able to extend his lead by huge amounts.
Yeah, and this is where we definitely mentioned knowledge and execution. Infinite speedrunner probably wouldn't ever have thought about this micro ledge because, well, you don't really go to Spirit Caverns, and when you do, you have wall jump. But Baron, with all of his Plando knowledge, knew about it, found the micro ledge pretty easily, and that is just the one pickup was really all the difference between them right now.
It's not a super hard micro ledge to get if you know it exists, but you have to know that it exists. Yeah. That might be Infinite's stumbling block at the moment.
Infinite definitely has his eye on Spirit Caverns at least, which is good, but he doesn't know which pickup. It seems he went for that top one a little bit, and now he's just looking at the map again. Oh, what a rude pickup!
Yeah, what a rude start to a seed. Like normally, if you're stuck on something, you can like just head somewhere else, and just try something else. But this seed, you're like just like basically completely walled off until you get wall jump. Man, that's unfortunate.
Nothing else is in Logic. There's no way for runners to break Logic with just Sea Flame. It's just this pickup. That's it.
Yep. Meanwhile, Baron is coming up on the dash tree. This is going to be his third collected tree, and we will be seeing our first clue of the seed. For the third, the sixth, and the ninth tree, we will find clues to the dungeon keys, the water vein, the Gumon seal, and the sunstone, and we see the clue for the Gumon seal, and the Gumon seal is in Ginso. That already tells us that the water vein cannot be in Forlorn. So that's nice, I guess. It could still be in Horu, though. And so, never know. We might find some fun stuff there.
We could also see the Sunstone in Forlorn as a way to force our runners to go there, but it's less likely now.
Yep. One thing that we should also point out, actually, one of the small changes to 4.0 is that you can see all icons on the map by default, and also they are referred to by name if you mouse over them. So if you have a look at spoiler documents or something, and they mention the name of a pickup, and that helps you correlate that with which pickup that actually is. Very useful if you're starting just to learn about the randomizer. 4.0 also has an integrated logic filter. However, using it is prohibited in this tournament by agreement among the runners. So that's not going to be helping Infinite here.
Yeah. If that was activated, he would see specifically that one keystone, or what is normally a keystone. But with everything turned on, it's just... Well, you can see pickups are pretty dense. That's why we have the names of them now shown. That's very convenient, but all the pickups on screen, only one is accessible to Infinite. Just gotta sniff that one out.
Yes, exactly. And that's also why he's sitting here and looking at the map and thinking, what the hell did I miss, probably, right now. He needs progression. As far as he knows, he's collected everything that's available to him because he doesn't know about a certain micro ledge that gets him access to one more pickup, which just happens to be the progression that he needs. Kind of an unfortunate thing to happen. Meanwhile, Baron has been going through Blackroot Burrows, fairly standard to do this with wall jump. He did a save anywhere past the boulder to get access to the teleporter and the second map, and that's the Mega Energy, which would allow him access into Grotto, not logical access, but I think he'll probably take it anyway.
I believe he teleported to Grove there, which there is another 4 energy door over in this area that he could attempt to open as well. Progression Vault specifically. We'll see if he decides to go for that instead of opening up Grotto, because Grotto's technically not logical, but this is.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Well, Progression Vault itself isn't, but like going that route, so it might make sense that he wants to follow logic further, and then go and collect Progression Vault along the way. However, actually getting to Grotto isn't logic. It's just logic by taking the very, very long way around. So so for all he knows, the next piece of progression might as well be in Grotto anyway. So it could also be... There's a lot of things it could be. Like, right, we have wall interaction, we have blue breakage, the world is our oyster. It could be Iceless for all we know.
Or at least the right side of the world is our oyster.
Yeah, that's true.
But that is still quite a few pickups to check. And as we've seen already, progression can literally just be a single pickup in the entire sea of possibilities. Baron does check one possibility that's technically not in logic. It's just 101 experience, and he actually reloads a save to keep that extra mega energy, hoping to use it on a later energy door, which is very, very heads up play from him.
He's definitely going to have to be frugal with his saves if he wants to keep his mega energy until the next energy door, because there aren't that many around. But at least he does have 3 charge flames, so that's not sapping his energy away. So it might be theoretically possible. There's a teleporter coming up as well. You can save there for free, basically. So he might be able to pull it off.
Mm-hmm. No, Not being able to save is a little bit dangerous in this long stretch, including some instant kill death spikes, which Baron is already past, but there are quite a few enemies, a lot of just platforming and murdering his way through, but he is getting through. Does have at least one extra health, which is very, very nice. Sigh of relief. So he might be attempting Iceless here, or just grabbing the blue plant pickup in here before heading back around. We'll see what he decides.
We know that Baron knows how to do Iceless. He did it in a recent showcase of the 0 XP category, and it looks like he's going for it. This is a very, very, very precise trick. It isn't Master Logic, though, so that XP orb up there could very well be progression. Let's see how long he goes for it. There's no guarantee that it is progression, so I would expect him to stop trying after a couple of attempts, and yes, that's exactly what happened. Gave it a couple of attempts, but once it was clear that he was having trouble, he was like, there's a lot of other stuff I can be checking. Let's go there instead.
Yeah, this is a master seed, and these are master players, but Iceless is something else entirely, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We do also see the fabled 1 experience pickup on Baron's side. Thank you, Sigma, for blessing the seed.
Thank you, Sigma. Meanwhile, Infinite was actually mousing over pickup that he needs to get to. I'm not sure on his thought process if he was just like mousing over it randomly, or if he actually thinks that that's what he has to get, but he hasn't sprung into action yet. So I'm worried that he thought about it and dismissed it as not being possible. Yeah. We've said it before, but this is like just a really unfortunate thing to happen for Infinite at this point.
Yeah, there's no way to know about that microledge until you know about it. And so at this point, Infinite has to either find some way to know about it or bash his face into the wall and get lucky. There aren't too many places to bash his face into, at least, since he is stuck in the early portions of the game. But right now, he's less bashing his face and more trying to figure it out, using the knowledge part of the equation instead to just think about the pickups, think about what's possible. On the other side, we do see Baron using that mega energy that he reloaded from Progression Vault to break into Grotto through this area of Death Gauntlet, as well as using a Frankie lure to break a floor. He'll have to damage boost through the water, which it doesn't look like he'll have enough health for. Oh, maybe he will. It's 13 experience. He will just take the death on that, scum that pickup, and we'll be continuing on through this very direct route into Grotto, one of the most pickup dense areas of the entire game.
There's 5 health. That's nice. And now he's heading over towards the Grotto TP. He could have also gotten there from the Swamp Teleporter or by going through Iceless, but yeah, this is a valid use of the Mega Energy, opens that door for future stuff, allows you to go through Death Gauntlet without having to go in and go back out. And yeah, one thing that is allowed in the rules of this tournament is that you can manually actually look through areas.ori. It's very, very slow, which is why it's allowed, because it's basically an ultimate last resort that nobody wants to spend time on if they have any other options available. But I would guess that was Infinite is doing right now, and I think and once he's worked throughout that, he'll know which pickup it is he's missing. Of course, he still has to figure out how to go there.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely not something you want to see, but with Master Seeds, the worst can absolutely happen. So it's good to have that backup in the rules for Infinite here. Baron also finding a little bit of trouble down with the Crushers in Grotto. Those are insta-kills if you get smashed between them, but he did place a save, and this area has plenty of extra energy. We'll see if he decides to go all the way down here for the mini-boss as the Crushers get him again. Oh man, those things are ruthless.
Yeah, Crushers are indeed brutal.
And in addition, Baron slightly mistimed a bridge cutscene skip. So there are a couple pickups over on the other side of that bridge that he could have grabbed if he had timed that a little bit differently. But as it is right now, those will have to wait. He can teleport up there for another jump to get over there. He might need double jump for that.
No, you can actually do it without any skills.
Ooh.
It's a very tight coyote jump, but it's definitely doable.
Doable as well is this mini boss, Charge Flame, making it quite a bit faster. Baron is redirecting the projectile that it spits right back into its face in order to take it down much faster than he would with just wall jump and sign. It's not anything, but good to know.
Yeah, at least now he has the knowledge on his side that there's nothing down here, and in Master it does pay off to be thorough because Master Seeds are usually very linear. That it means you basically have to find the next progression to be able to get the progression further on. So if you miss like one piece of the logic chain, you just won't be able to progress through the seed. In Standard, that's not the case. So even if there's a skill down there, the chances aren't bad that you'll just find another skill anyway. That's far less likely in Master. So being thorough is definitely understandable in that regard.
Although, speaking of being thorough, maybe Baron has speedrunning on his mind because he did just skip the pickup that's in the Crushers, something that we just dashed right past in like all skills runs, but could have been
really?
something. Yeah, he skipped over that Crusher pickup. It's not too long to come back and get, especially if he is going to grab, say, the energy cell above it that requires something like double jump in order to help him get. But
and now he's back in Grove. This might be a Valley Entry revisit at this point, where he's going to be. He can get this plant up here with just wall jump and charge flame, and he can also go around left and get up to the pickup on top of the tree. It's a bit of a trick, but it is very much in logic, so it could hold the next piece of progression. Other places that Baron hasn't looked yet is in Swamp Loop. That's a pretty dense area, but with this skill set is actually not that dense because you're forced to leave a lot of pickups behind. And then there's a couple of one-offs just scattered across the map. There's Iceless, there's the Horu Fields, Health Cell. Yeah. Still plenty of stuff to get.
And Baron does manage to get up those walls fairly quickly. They are exactly as they look in terms of hitboxes, which means they're not even and therefore slippery. And you saw it a couple times if you were watching Baron's screen, him falling down just when he very much should have been able to jump. But the game just goes, nope, the wall is slippery. And Baron navigated most of that wall very, very expertly. Grabbed the pickups, wasn't anything, and is now going to look through probably Swamp Loop.
Would be my guess as well. Infinite's still stuck. He has been mousing over the keystone that he has to get at this point, but it just seems that, yeah, this is like such an unfortunate start. You really feel bad for him.
Yeah, when you only have one skill and it's typically considered the weakest skill in the game, there's not a lot you can do. There's no real way to get sequence breaks in the logic. There's really no energy or health for him yet. So all he's stuck on is just one skill, the worst in the game, and one micro ledge pickup that he doesn't know of the micro ledge.
Yep. And the thing is that this path doesn't even have anything to do with the skill he has. Like, this is a path technically possible without any skills at all. So, if he's trying to think in terms of charge flame, then that might put him further away from where he actually has to be.
Mm-hmm. We did see at one point he was even thinking of that blue plant in Valley.
Yeah.
he leveled up even Charge Flame Burst Blast to see if that could reach, and it doesn't. But he definitely had that on his mind.
And this is like, feels so bad to watch him do this. You almost want to give him a hint, but of course we won't be doing that.
Master is absolutely a cruel, cruel mistress.
Yeah, but this start is more cruel than most Master starts, to be sure.
Something else that's cruel and something that you don't see in maybe more standard seeds is what Cereberon is doing. That's actually vanilla. He did not have
I think he didn't have the energy.
Door closing.
Yeah, he didn't have the energy to rekindle, skip the door closing cutscene, but he does have energy to skip this. So that's nice. At least he won't have to bother with any lasers. Yeah, Infinite seems is back in here, but yeah, he's just not getting up there to that plant, and he's back to Spirit Caverns. Let's hope that he manages to figure out this micro ledge and can finally progress in the seed. It's been more than 10 minutes now since he's been stuck, and that just has to be a bad experience.
Yeah. He's in the right place. It looks like he might be thinking about that top keystone just based on where he's positioned right now. There are definitely some micro ledges to that, I think, but I don't know if he can get those even without wall jump still.
There's definitely a micro ledge that can help you get it with climb, but I don't think you can get on it without any skills at all. And even if you could, I don't think it would be enough to clear the lip at the top and make it to the pickup. So I think it looks like he's put down a save. He's putting down a save. Okay, I think he might have the right idea.
Oh, there was the wall.
Okay, I think he's got it. Oh man, I'm so happy that he figured it out. Even though, hopefully. please let this not be a jinx. I think he's going for more attempts.
Infinite, I'm sending you my energy.
Yes, okay. It seems like he's figured out that there's something there. Oh man.
Meanwhile, on Baron's side, he has started to run out of checks himself as well. There are still a couple that he's left behind here and there, as well as one-offs, like you mentioned, like the Horrorfield's Health Cell or Iceless. Yikes. But for now, he is going to head back down into Grotto, trying to get over the bridge in order to grab the water vein and the energy cell that are, not energy cell, EXP bit that are over here. It's very difficult, though, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Oh no, Infinite nearly had it. Yeah, I think he knows that there's something there now, and he's just going to go for it. This is like unfortunate retry loop at this point, but yeah, I'm sure if he sticks with it, he's going to get it fairly quickly. It's lower than you'd think it is. You have to jump later than you probably think you have to. But yeah, this one just needs a couple of attempts.
Yeah, micro ledges, like I mentioned before, the walls in this game are very well detailed, and that is reflected in the hitboxes. So some walls just have a little tiny portion you can stand on, and that you really can't see that pretty much at all. You just have to know that they're there, and that is what Infinite's looking for right now. And it's not like you stand on them either. You kind of slide down the wall, unless you have something like climb to stop your momentum, to actually find or stop on the ledge. You just kind of slide past it. It's very, very
so
different.
You have to like time your jump while you're basically on it to get a small jump off.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, on Baron's side, we might see one of a couple different fun tricks, depending on what Baron feels comfortable going with. down here. You're supposed to have enough energy to open a door, to push another rock, to block one laser, so you can push another rock to block another. But with some very precise movement, we can just use the one rock. Oh, not this time, but it looks like he will still be attempting it. It's a very cool trick to see, just barely sliding through. It is possible, and it's very, very difficult. So we'll see if Baron goes for it or if he goes for the other method.
It looks like he's using the backup method of a save drop. He's saved in the air, using a save anywhere, and then reload the game, which will put him down on the... And he messed up his positioning, though, and he's stuck on the laser now, so he's going to have to load a backup here. And let's see if he tries that again, or if he's just like, this pickup's not in logic anyway, not worth it. Infinite's getting closer. It seems like he's zeroed in on this being what he has to do. And that actually looked almost like he was standing on it. That was like basically perfect. Just a little higher the jump, and then yeah, you have it. Oh man, that doesn't feel great. But I think he's going to have it very soon.
And yeah, it is basically perfect, and he gets it!
Let's go! Yeah, that surely doesn't feel great. Getting wall jump after being stuck for like 20 minutes and knowing your opponent might have had this for like 20 minutes, which he did. Infinite can't know that, of course, so he's just probably going to be hoping that Baron struggled with that as well. What might help him is actually the fact, again, he has no way of knowing this, but Baron has checked a lot of stuff, but he has not actually found further progression. So if in case Infinite happens to find that complete this progression step much quicker than Baron did, then he could definitely claw back some time here. And if some of the more powerful skills are found, then Infinite's execution advantage might be able to help him claw back here. But make no mistake, the fact that Baron has basically checked everything that's reasonable to check with the skill set, more or less, and Infinite is just starting, is a huge advantage for Baron, and he's definitely in a sizable lead right now.
Yeah, for sure. We are seeing we are on skill parity actually, but Infinite is checking the first things that you can get with this skill set, and Baron is checking the last things. And again, there are a couple that Baron skipped here and there. These two pickups being some of them. He is back to them now after missing that finicky bridge skip earlier, as well as the one in the Grotto Crushers. I'll have to see if he remembers that. If that ends up being progression, that's something that Infinite's gonna walk by on the way to double jump tree. So we'll see if Infinite would get that, or maybe also forget it in that speedrunner, just get through the crushers fast mindset.
I don't think Infinite is forgetting about it. I think after the start he's going to be hyper focused. Though I did see a couple of frustrated mouse waggles, so I guess you can't completely rule it out. But man, you do feel bad for him. But I'm like super hyped that he actually managed to discover a microlith that he hadn't known about earlier at all, and basically figure it out during a tournament. It shows how skilled of a runner he is. Meanwhile, Baron is checking the Glad Vault, as we affectionately call it. This is out of logic since he only has one energy spell. He used an energy glitch, which is not in Master Logic. It's only in Glitch to get in here. He did find another health cell, so he's on 6 health at the moment. Speaking, one option that we haven't talked about for further logical progression is the Igor lure to Butter Cell. He has 6 health at the moment. That makes it a lot easier, but it's technically doable with only 5. And I think all the other health cells that he found were in logic. So that might be where the seed is pointing them next. And if Infinite catches on, maybe does that fairly quickly, the first time that he's over there, then that could be a huge equalizer.
Yeah, for sure. All the lures are pretty much in logic at this point. There are a couple of Baneling ones that are way too difficult, even for Master. But in terms of frogs, they're pretty manipulable. and so our runners can use the frogs, both the stompers and the spitters, to their advantage in some really, really clever ways. So we'll see if Baron goes for that right now.
Yeah, he is in the correct area, and this is a fairly notoriously well-known master trick, so I think this would make sense. And it seems like he is getting Igor to follow him. This could also be the damage boost variant of Iceless, in case he doesn't want to bother with real Iceless. But it looks like he's going for the Butter Cell lure. And that was actually really close on the first attempt. You have to get him to jump off of basically the perfect pixel on this flower to for him to not only clear the stump, but to actually stay on the ledge. And Baron gets it really quickly.
Now just gotta make sure Igor doesn't fall off. There he is. What a good frog.
Yes.
And speaking of good frogs, we are seeing another one on Infinite side being used to break that boulder. Marvin actually isn't in logic just because he's very weird and doesn't respawn. But since Infinite pulled off a glitch to pass the rock, Marvin gets to stay alive and we get to play with him. So thank you, Marvin, for letting Infinite pass.
Meanwhile, Baron accidentally killed Igor, so while he's waiting for Igor to respawn, he's getting a couple more Iceless attempts in. Another pickup that is in logic and that he has not checked. He's getting very close, but getting close on this jump isn't that hard, but getting it is. So we'll see. We'll see if he sticks with it or if he nearly had it there. He was like against the part where he jumped off. He just didn't get the jump in time. Yeah, very, very tricky jump here. Let's see if he sticks with it or if he at some point decides, you know what, my buddy's probably respawned by now. Let's do the other trick that's not as bad first.
Meanwhile, on Infinite's side of the screen, oh my gosh, looked like he had the frog juke there, but Death Gauntlet is called Death Gauntlet for a reason. But he is in Death Gauntlet. Use that Mega Energy in the same way that we saw Baron do earlier in order to get into Grotto just a little bit earlier. This area is in logic, but you're supposed to go all the way around, and Infinite just didn't do that. He's right there already. So we know that most of these picks are nothing. The one thing that really sticks out in my mind that he could grab is that Crusher ability, not ability cell, EXP ball.
Yeah, but true.
Besides that, this is just a lot more filler pickups, including, though, some health, as well as he'll get some more ability cells for possible shenanigans later.
He might actually need that health if what Baron is currently working on is actually the required progression. Baron has used Charge Flame, one of those redirects I was talking about, to skip the second half of this lure. You can lure the Frankie down there and break that floor for you, but if you have Charge Flame, you can also use the Spider Shot. It's way easier. You don't have to lure the Frankie a second time. And now he's just heading back down there again after refilling his health so that he can do the dirty water swim. Ideally not take any damage in the process. Meanwhile, Infinite is descending into Grotto. So if the Crusher's EXP is actually a progression, then that would have Infinite back in the game. It's not Butter Cell. So I think that pickup is a candidate. I don't think we've seen Horrorfield's health cell yet.
I don't believe so.
We've not seen the swim here, which is doable with 5 health, which is what they logically have access to.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be that. And yeah, let's see. And oh my god.
There it is. That's huge. That's one of the power skills in this game, as we like to call them.
That's
Bash
the
is
most powery of
incredible.
all the power skills. It's like basically with Bash and way to break blue plants, which they have, and it can basically go everywhere on this map. It's crazy how powerful Bash is.
Yeah, pretty much the only thing that is left for what basically might be Lumberjack mode or even Go mode is Water Vein and Sunstone. Like, having Bash just means, especially in a Master Seed where a bunch of crazy shenanigans are allowed, Bash can get you just about anywhere. As we might see here, with Baron double bashing off of Igor. Once again, a very, very good frog who does drop the chain, is trying to get up to what would typically be gotten through Glide and Wind Restored much later in the game. You can use a chain of double bashes to get up to this very high pickup pretty early on. His bash is just that powerful.
Yes, indeed. Double bashes are made easier in the rando. You do not have to execute frame perfect tricks for them, but they're still not easy to pull off, especially long chains of them. So yeah, he gets up there, just 64 XP. Yeah, the problem with the fact that he found bash now means that the next progression could literally be anywhere.
Yeah, we've already seen 2 different hunts for 2 different skills. And now we might see a third because this seed is just so very, very rude. Bash does allow us to get Iceless very, very easily. That's an energy cell for Roadrunners, so technically Glide Vault could be in logic, but...
I want to point out at this point that we are 42 minutes in and we just found our second energy cell. That's ridiculous.
Thank you, randomizer, for this blessed seed today.
I'm not sure Infinite agrees, but...
We are going to see Baron finally go and grab that Horror Field's health cell. This is in logic with just a teleporter. You don't need any skills to get it. So it's a little strange that we haven't seen it so far, but it was just health regen, so nothing missed here. And looks like Baron's going to continue along the path to see what else he can grab in Horror Fields with just Bash, because again, Bash is that powerful.
That was an interesting trick that Infinite just did. He leveled up Charge Flame Burn, which is actually in Master Logic, to get access to a pickup, the Death Gauntlet Roof plant, that contained another energy cell. He decided that that was not worth the ability points spent, so he loaded a backup save, and he's now back up three ability points, but down an energy cell. Not sure if I would have chosen that trade-off. It's definitely an understandable one. Like, man, being on one energy sure sucks.
I will say that now he does have the knowledge of that energy cell there. If he's running low on pickups or just decides, hey, I really, really do need that energy, he does know where to find one now. And that can be very, very convenient for whenever he is feeling a pinch. Because as we know, the only other energy that we've seen is Iceless, which, yeah, that's a pickup.
Indeed. For all that Infinite knows, that could have actually been logical progression, though, because Charge Flame Burn is in Master Logic, and that puts Spider Cell in Logic, not Spider Cell, Glide Vault. But yeah, Infinite. It seems Infinite has found his way back into Grove a lot quicker than Baron did. So if he beelines for this underwater swim, which I think makes sense for him to do, because he didn't go through here initially, so and he has the health for it, so why would he skip it? That could basically tie up the race because yeah, Baron found wall jump much quicker, but now Infinite looks to be heading towards Bash much quicker, and then we'd be tied up back on skills. And who knows where the next progression is? Like, it's anybody's game at that point.
Yeah. Infinite is 1 health down. Oh my god, places a save. He's going.
Going for it.
No way.
You can't do this with 5.
He'll get it.
Yeah.
But this is insane to see a comeback of this magnitude. They are once again on skill parity with just about the entire map left to search for their next progression. Oh my god.
Yeah, and Baron's lead, of which was like more than 20 minutes at wall jump, has shrunk to 5 minutes at this point. And who knows if it even is a lead, because he's checked a lot of stuff, and checking stuff is good, but none of the stuff that he actually checked gave him anything. And if Infinite just decides to be really aggressive at this point, it looks like he's heading towards Valley entry where you can get the Frankie to stomp a peg now that he has bash, and just go for trees to know where do I have to search, where do I have to search further to find the dungeon keys that I need anyway, and then that could be his way back into the race. Super exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, with Bash, it could literally be any one pickup pretty much on the entire map. And so we're seeing Baron right now go for some pretty challenging Horu Fields pickups, having to have some precise bashes off these slimes and take a damage boost from that lava there. Meanwhile, Infinite is going for some more standard pickups, possibly trying to push for trees, although he did back up and is now going back towards Grotto for the time being. Maybe thinking of that energy and glide vault potentially, or maybe going for some other more bash related tricks up here.
I think Infinite is going to go into Swamp. Would be my guess. He can do the all skill Swamp entry. At this point, he can check everything in Swamp Loop, which is a super dense area to collect resources in, if nothing else, and it gets him tree progression. And he really wants to hit that sixth tree because he knows that that's going to give him a hint that's going to be helpful. And once he has an area, then then he can search that area, get resources there, and still progress towards the goal of finding the dungeon keys that he needs. Baron finds another mega energy. I think that's actually the third of the seed, which would make them all of them, or is it just the second?
I only remember one, but that's I remember it because they put it. Baron especially put it to very good use, checking multiple 4 energy doors with it.
The runners found the same one. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second.
Yeah, we've seen those before used for great effect. There aren't too many 4 energy doors left, but Baron maybe has his eye on one of them right now. Or he's just doing the other lure that you can do with this.
As we see, frogs are magical beings. Our good friend Ringo gave Infinite a shot there that just phased through the ceiling. Can't really do anything about that. It phased through, but it didn't while going down, so I think Infinite will take that. And he is heading over towards Stump Tree.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another tree, which is the required progression for beating the game. You need all trees in our Forest Trees goal mode. So Infinite making that play is very, very on the nose for what his goals are in this randomizer.
He is pretty low on health right now, so you cannot actually cross this without going into the water at all with the skill set that he has. So somewhat unfortunately, it looks like he's going to be he thought about warping out, but he has had a different idea. Let's see what he's going to do.
The big thing is he needs to get into the water in order to grab a fish, because those fish can be bashed, and bashing those fishes will let you double bash. But instead, I really like this. Goes for the Rhino, kills it, and levels up off of its EXP. That's full health and an extra energy. Really, really smart play there, looking at his EXP counts and just deciding, yeah, I can do this. That'll give me a full health refill. And he'll take that, save again, double bash the fish all the way up. And that'll get him to Stomp Tree. Very, very well done from Infinite.
And there's the Sunstone. Oh my god. And you know that with just basically bash and launcher action, Horu surely isn't logic, and you can do a lot in there in Master. I think you can get all the pickups that aren't Stomp Lock. R3 might be tricky, and by might be tricky, I mean be an absolute nightmare if it's possible at all. But there's a lot in there that might actually not be that bad.
Yeah. And I would also like to point out, with that other Mega Energy, Baron did open another 4 energy door, this one leading into Glazer, and did a very cool trick using the frog to push the boulder is faster, and it also lets him use bash on the frog to get up. So it didn't give him anything but an energy cell, but it was a very, very cool play as well. even if it didn't get him the Sunstone like Infinite's play did.
Infinite is not feeling the Horu play, at least for the moment. He's just going to push trees further. Since he knows where the Sunstone is, he's going to be hoping that he gets the Water Vein clue as his next clue. Though even if he does find the Water Vein with his skill set, he cannot actually ascend the Ginso tree. So this is close to a go mode, but not quite yet. Yeah. But yeah, just finding out an area where a Water Vein is located would allow him to search there and maybe pick up other skills that are hanging out there as well. And he can go up here. This is totally doable with just one interaction and bash. Totally in logic even. And then he can head over and either do Stompless or the regular version. No need for Sea Flame Stompless in this seed since we have bash. Or he can just bash over to the rocks and get a friendly frog named Wilhelm that spawns after you find the Sunstone to shoot it for him. So he has options here, and that should get him his 6th tree. And I think if he gets the Water Vein hint here, then he's going to go search for that. And if he doesn't, he'll probably be pushing trees more. Yeah, that's my guess at least.
Yep. We do also see Baron hovering around that swamp area. Doesn't choose to go through lower swamp entry, but has upper swamp entry to go through as well, the same way Infinite did. And we do know that since the Sunstone is on the tree, there's no way that Baron will miss that when he goes through that area. The tree is you're going to get the tree no matter what. Does have to contend with these mortars that he left in here, although perhaps he's thinking of using them for some double bash shenanigans.
Oh my god. I think I know what he's trying to do with this.
Oh my goodness, Baron.
Meanwhile, we did get a Water Vein clue on Feather, and its Water Vein is in Sorrow.
Wow.
That could be really bad. It could also only be bad, but I don't think there's a way for that to be good news.
Yeah, Sorrow, Sorrow's basically, if you're casually playing, you need Glide to do literally anything. But with damage boosts and with stuff like Bash, our runners can potentially get quite a few pickups and very, very sketchy and dangerous means.
Yes, theoretically, the entirety of Sorrow is in logic without Glide. Glide can be on the final escape in Master. Meanwhile, Infinite is actually doing a sequence break. Master logic is very tough and has a lot in logic, but this lure is not one of them because this Frankie can permanently despawn. So if it were in logic, you could soft lock the seed really easily, but of course you can still use it and break into here. Oh no, wait, never mind, this isn't logic, because you could use bash to double bash a spider shot here and break that, but nobody ever does that because that Frankie exists.
Yeah, Master is a little bit bonkers. And actually, both of our runners making very nice use of frogs. Baron with Ringo in order to get into Swamp that we saw Infinite do earlier. And of course, Marvin over here. And Infinite now using another frog, which I don't think we've given a name to that one yet. But using it to grab, that's a lot of experience down here. Oh, goodness.
Interesting. I wonder if that pickup is not in logic for some reason. That double bash chain isn't that bad. So I would have thought it would be Master, but Master can be quite inconsistent. The way Baron was circling the Sunstone that he just picked up, putting them both up progression parity again, makes me think that he'll probably be heading into Horu fairly soonish. But let's see. I think he wants to finish clearing out the Storm Tree area first. At least as good as he can. He does not have Grenade, so he can't. So he can't get the pickup below him, but he can do that double bash chain once, and now he has to do it again to actually get up there.
Mm-hmm. And something else I would like to know is that while Infinite has been rushing trees, Baron's pickups have been helping him quite a bit. He has a bunch of ability cells as well as 5 energy, and what's that now? 7 health. While his Infinite only has 2 energy and 5 health. But oh my gosh, Infinite finds Glide. That is a absolutely massive relief since he knows that the Water Vein is in Sorrow. Having that Glide makes Sorrow so much more free.
Yes, indeed.
And actually, with that, I think for the first time since like the very, very beginning of the seed, Infinite has more skills than Baron does. After that massive deficit, Infinite has come back, now having a tree advantage and a skill advantage.
And it looks to me like he's going to be heading into Sorrow and trying to find that Water Vein. There is one pickup in Sorrow that, no matter how powerful Bash is, you simply cannot get with the skill set because it is locked behind Grenade, and there's no way to do anything about it. So if that's the case, then he's going to be in trouble because then he's going to have to find Grenade. He can't even go to Forlorn to get the hint because the Gumon seal is, you guessed it, Ginso. So if he's looking for the Water Vein, he doesn't have access to Ginso, so therefore he doesn't have access to Forlorn. So if it comes down to that, then he'll just have to find Grenade. But there are 30 other pickups in Sorrow, and he can get them all. So chances are fairly decent that he's going to find that Water Vein.
He does have to first get through a lot of spikes, although with stuff like double bashing and birds, that can be a lot easier than it seems, although it's still, again, very, very difficult. Double bashes are pretty ridiculously precise. But Infinite manages to get through and in, now has the ability to glide up and around to see what pickups he can get in order to find that coveted Water Vein, which he still can't really get up Ginso Tree at this point even. Just no height gain whatsoever, no double jump or charge jump to let our runners move up this very vertical dungeon of Ginso.
One thing that's also notable, thanks to our truck for pointing this out, is that there are actually 2 pickups that count as Sorrow that feel like they shouldn't, and Infinite didn't check either of them, Kuro's Perch and the Wilhelm XP. So I think so if he goes like all the way up to Sunstone now, only to find the Water Vein there, then that could be a way for Baron to catch back up again.
Mm-hmm. Although
it would be a large time sink.
This is Baron's 6th tree as well, I believe, and will also same Sorrow hint. But he does not yet have Glide, so we'll see if he decides to go straight for Sorrow with just the Bash shenanigans, or if he's going to continue to search around. And yeah, it looks like, at least for now, he's going to go down into the quick area of Lower Valley and search through there.
Infinite is doing a Sea Juggle without Sea Juggle. And he's actually getting the frog on that micro ledge. And he gets it. Very nice tech.
Oh my goodness. Infinite just absolutely showing a masterclass. As soon as he got that wall jump, he kicked it into insane go mode. Or not go mode, but like he's playing out of his mind is what I'm trying to say.
Infinite has been showing off lots of skills. He is now up to 6 health as well. He can't actually take a damage here. Oh no, wait, he could earlier as well. They only do 4 damage, not 5. And there's the Water Vein. Like we said earlier, he can't actually do anything with it because he still can't get past the Gimor room. So he can't actually get any pickups in Ginso right now. But it's definitely nice to have. And I think any skill that gets him up the Gimor room now also gives him a go mode. So he just needs one more skill. Grenade would work, double jump would work, dash would work, and charge jump would work. So there's a couple of skills that it could be.
Yeah. Well, there's only one Water Vein. There are now 4 different pickups, and that is absolutely what Infinite wants. He can just progress through pushing any trees that he wants in order to find those 4 skills as fast as possible. Trees like Climb Tree and Misty, which we do see Baron already going for. in this very, very linear dungeon. There are quite a few pickups along the way, and even though you're supposed to have glide to do this area, Baron going in with Bash is such a powerful skill. He can get pretty much all of them anyways, even though there is another one in here that requires Grenade. Could be very, very spooky, not knowing what's in that.
But I guess, but I guess, if that pickup is like something, then people are just not gonna find it, right? Like, there's nothing left in the seed that you absolutely 100% have to get there. You can find workarounds to pretty much everything. And there's charge jump.
Ooh.
So Infinite is hard on Baron Seals, and once he finds that, he's absolutely in go mode. Is he? Can you do the final? Yeah, you can do the final run of this game. Just double bash the fish up.
Bash is just that powerful. And then charge jump as well, one of the 3 power skills in this game, as well as glide for that extra air retention, and Sea Flame for wall breakage in the final escape. Yeah, that feels very, very good to me. A little tense maybe through some of the sections, but
I mean, we all know there's going to be a skill on the final escape anyway. Sadly, neither of our charge jump predictions came true, but I'm just glad our runners have it now. That definitely makes the seed a lot easier. And yeah, Infinite immediately stopped checking stuff. He knows he has everything he needs to finish the seed out, and it's actually not going to be super slow after that horrific opening. He's still going to pull out a very respectable time here. He just needs to get Climb Tree, then climb up the Ginso Tree up to Bash Tree, and then do the final escape. So I think he's going to. We're looking still at a sub 1 hour 15 or something from Infinite, which is ridiculous given the fact that he was stuck for 25 minutes at the start.
Yeah, just a master class in how to progress through a seed. Went from nothing to everything he needs in 30 minutes, 35. Completely bonkers.
Yeah, as our Chuck has pointed out, that it's a good point. Glide is still out of logic. Doing a save anywhere past the laser into the dash area, into the grenade area is actually not in master logic because it requires ability cells and glitches, only glitch logic. I doubt Infinite will care very much, but yeah, glide is still out of logic. So you would need either double jump or dash to put it into logic to get through there. Those are the only 2 logical skills that get you through it in Master.
And of course, both of those would also get you up the gamer room.
Yes.
But of course, at this point, Infinite does have charge jump. That is a completely free room with charge jump, as we are about to see. As this will be his last tree here in Ginso. And my god, I can't believe this race is this far in after that horrific opening.
Yeah, the Infinite definitely pulled it back after that start, when it looked like Baron had run away with it, but he needed so long to find Bash, and Infinite was so quick to suss out the location that almost all the advantage that Baron gained earlier was completely nullified by the next progression step. One thing I think that looks like 3 keystones in the top right. I sure hope we don't have to do the good old Ginso keystone shuffle. Maybe Infinite remembers as well and checks these pickup, and surely one of them is going to be a keystone. Surely. Or is that actually a 5? No, it's definitely a 3.
He didn't check the keystones in the room. Oh, there's one.
Okay. Never punished. Easy game.
My goodness. Meanwhile, Baron is already going up into Sorrow. Remember, he doesn't have glide. Makes this area incredibly difficult. Has to use a bunch of double bash chains to get basically anything done. But he's going for it. He knows the water vein's up here, and that is his mission.
Meanwhile, Infinite has gotten his 10th tree and is heading over to Oro now. So yeah, it would, unless Infinite has a lot of problems with this escape, which I don't think he will. This is looking like the GG. Yeah. But
I
we'll see.
I don't have words right now. This is just so cool to see the comeback of a lifetime here.
Meanwhile, Baron's still checking stuff in Sorrow. Obviously, the water vein is somewhere here. He might not go up to the spike cave immediately. Because without glide, it's a pain to traverse, so he might try to check the lower pickups. Obviously, that might get him another skill, but it will definitely put him behind even further on finding the water vein. So, yeah, not looking great for him.
He will need to get charge jump up there eventually. So again, like Sunstone, it's just because it's on the way to one of the required trees, but without glide, Sorrow is just such a pain to do. Having to do all these insane double bashes, and if you drop one like that, bam, a floor of spikes waiting to impale you with a bunch of damage each.
Infinite going for some classic violence, not filling the door warp today. And he's into the final escape. Okay, last minute guess, I'm going to think this is I'm going to say this is dash.
I still said double jump, right?
You said double jump, yeah.
It could be. It still could be. Come on, Master. What's it gonna be?
It's climb. I mean, climb C jump's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, but we don't have grenade, so it's not 3 out of 3.
No G jumps. The seed. Sad.
But yeah, definitely still very helpful.
Yeah,
we might see. But...
It does make the final room, especially of the escape, a lot easier than it would have been without. So I don't think Infinite's complaining too much.
I mean, you will never complain about getting any skill, especially after the start that Infinite had.
Yeah, true. Meanwhile, Baron is continuing to struggle in Sorrow. Not breaking into lower BRB is really punishing him here, or at least breaking into BRB early definitely rewarded Infinite. Let's say it like that. And Infinite is up and out, and that is an amazing time given the horrible start that he had to see. GG, what a performance!
Yeah, GG is maybe not even that was not a good game. That was a masterful game from Infinite. Just as soon as he got off,
Yes, definitely.
Maybe not sub 110, but close after that start.
Not quite, but very close.
I can't think about how insane that is.
Definitely a scary opponent to come up against. Infinite will be playing against, let me check the bracket, against Ruby in the second round of the tournament. So that's going to be a fun matchup. Let's see. Baron is taking the spider shot for an adventure, and he messed up a bash. That feels bad. I think he might just climb up further and then try to double bash the frog instead of the spider shot up here. You can do this. It's a little bit awful.
Wants to place a save, which is very understandable. There's one a little further down, but a save nonetheless. Meanwhile, oh my god, that was a sub 110. At least according to the timer, which I think we might have had a little bit of timer shenanigans at the beginning, but still, oh my goodness. Infinite 109.47. The race time 109.48, yeah. Wow.
Alright. And it looks like Infinite is actually game for an interview. So once he shows up on Discord, pull him over and ask him some questions about what is undoubtedly to be his favorite start to a Master Seed ever.
At least he knows now, and he will never forget that
We will
micro ledge
definitely
exists.
never forget. Oh man, that was great to watch.
We are seeing Baron in the race time chat knows that Infinite has won, and he thinks he still needs a skill in order to keep progression. Likely, he needs a skill, and that is fair. Sorrow without glide is ridiculous. Though possible, but ridiculous.
We'll see if he decides to continue. Of course, he doesn't have to. No shame in saying, okay, that's it. That's me done. I don't feel like finishing that one. Yeah, Baron has DNF'd at this point. GG to him as well. Showed some impressive knowledge and some hugely impressive double bash chains. So yeah, definitely a pleasure to watch as well, even though he ultimately will not end up progressing further in the tournament.
Yeah, this is why I don't play Master Seeds, because they are cruel and require some bonkers stuff. But these two runners both managing to get very far into the seed, getting the micro ledges, getting dirty water swims, all of it. Just find that little bit of progression.
Yeah. GG's of you.
Yeah, GG, holy crap.
That was very interesting to watch.
That was very interesting to play.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Okay, let's start with you, Infinite. I'm sure you know what we're going to ask about first.
Yeah.
What about that start?
I had never seen that path before. I had no idea that it can be even reached. So I started staring at areas.ori trying to find that path, but I couldn't find it for some reason. I kept overlooking it, and then I found it, and then I didn't know how to do it. And then I found the micro ledge there and tried it, and it worked somehow.
That was amazing seeing you basically discover that micro ledge to get you wall jump in Spirit Caverns before our eyes. You were 24 minutes behind picking up wall jump.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then in the turnaround of the century, you were only 5 minutes behind picking up Bash. You really zeroed in on that, and Baron, you basically picked up basically everything you could except for Iceless before finding that.
I know.
Yeah, I knew that if I have a chance in the race, I need to try some master path that I thought Baron might skip. So I just went looking at dash plant and stuff like that.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think what won you the race was your willingness to break out of logic to go into lower BRB. Well, it wasn't even out of logic, but to just to go there using the Frankie, and finding glide there made Sorrow so much easier for you. Baron, that was, I think, what you were missing.
Oh, yeah. If I'd found Glide in Blackroot, that was basically full go mode.
Yeah. GG's. What were your thoughts on the seed, Baron?
So the beginning was quite nice, honestly. I was circling the keystones the whole time, knowing that it was going to give me something silly with them eventually. And then, of course, I wandered for a long time.
Yeah.
It kept giving me more health, which made me think to do a hard damage boost. But of course, that swim was the last one I chose, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
even did Butter Cell before it, which is like huge time sink, and you got it pretty quickly, but yeah, still unfortunate.
Yeah. And then, of course, by the time I did go left side, I was just too little too late.
Yeah.
Something that I'd like to ask both of you actually is we saw several times in the seed you got one pickup and about half the map instantly opened up. What is your thought process when you get something, a situation like that, and have so many pickups to check? Do you go for hard things, dense pickups? Do you go for trees? What do you do, Baron? Let's start with you.
When I found Bash, I looked at my skill set and felt like going for trees was not quite right. There was plenty of little things to pick up here and there, but I did gravitate towards Stomp Tree when I found Bash.
Interesting. And Infinite, any thoughts about what you do in that situation?
Yeah, because of how much I was behind, I was just rushing trees and hoping to find something along the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, that did end up working with.
Turned out to work for you. Yeah, it was interesting to see how the moment that you picked up Charge Jump, you basically stopped picking up any other pickups because you finally knew that you could get past the second room in Ginza, and that nearly bit you. You stood outside the keystone door and only had 3 keystones, but luckily there was one.
Never punished.
Never punished. Yeah. Well, GG's, both of you. Infinite, you'll be advancing in the tournament. Your next match will be against Ruby. Do you have any thoughts on that match?
Not really. I'm excited for it, but same as if I was playing against any other player.
Understandable. We'll definitely be excited to watch you in another Master Seed. Let's hope it's not quite as bad as this one. And Baron, you'll unfortunately be out of the tournament. Do you have any future plans for Ori?
I've got a plan for making a new Plando, but that's on the hinge of my conscience right now.
Yeah, understandable. Well, GG's once again to all of you, and thanks for playing in the tournament. And yeah, Turtle, thank you for commentating with me. Fupio and Person, thank you for helping out on Truck. Didu, thank you for doing the restream stuff. And thanks everybody out there. Thank you for watching and for supporting the Ori community and this tournament. Have a great day.